Well, I was with you when I shot my first.
First deer with a bow and your first turkey.
Yeah. So
he was a lot different back then. He's not the same hunter as what he was when I got to experience that when we were. He was a little younger and myself as well.
Yeah. We were trying to figure it up. It was like probably 22 years ago or something like that.
Yep.
We were trying to figure out how old we were.
Well, that'd be a good start before we get into things. I'd like to hear what
well, which one?
well, preferably the first one and the best one. That's
yeah.
Well, probably one of the best ones. He reminded me a while ago when we were talking. I forgot he was not quite in as good a shape back then when he was younger. And
the fat kid.
Yeah, he was a little bit, but of course, he was young too. I give him heck now, but he did pretty well for being 9, 10, 11 years old, and we had Viper climbing stands back then.
Yeah, the Summit Vipers.
And he would be packing it in there. And of course, he'd be slower than what I wanted him to go, and I wanted to get there. And so finally, he'd have to stop and rest. And so I just eventually grabbed both stands and the guns and throw them all on my back and just walk them all in for him so we could get in there and get to hunting. But we had the best one. We were hunting a property, one of my buddy's properties, which is what I used to hunt a lot back then. And we had went in the night before and put the climbing stands on our trees so that we were ready to go, and we didn't have to, do that in the morning for him to try to speed things up a little bit. And so we were going in that morning, and my stand actually ended up being before we got to his. And I was like, Josh, do you want me to walk you to your stand and then make sure you find it, and then I'll come back to mine and do it that way? And no, I know where it's at. I'll be fine. I can get it. I'm like, are you sure? Yep. I know right where it's at, right where we put it. We just go around the corner, go in the woods and the next corner, and it'll be there. I said, all right. You sure?
Josh, sure.
Yeah. And so I said, go around this corner, go to the next bend, the next corner in the woods, it bends back to your right, and just go straight in the woods there, and it'll be in the woods about 10 or 15 yards. I got it. So he leaves, and I climb up my stand. I'm sitting there waiting, and just turns daylight, and I'm looking, and I look over my left, and here comes Josh walking around the corner. I was like, oh man, just turned daylight, perfect time in the morning, and he walks up the bottom of the stand. Hey, yeah, couldn't find your stand, could you? No, I don't know where it's at. I walked everywhere. I walked in the woods. I walked up and down the woods. I walked all over the place. I'm like, all right, I'll be right down. And so we got down, and then we hunted that property either the next morning or that next evening.
It was next evening.
And I ended up going across the field and setting to where I could see. It was a long way across the field, but I could see where he was at. And we get in there, and we're maybe in our stand half hour, 45 minutes, possibly.
Yeah, not very long.
And next thing I know, here Josh walks out of the woods, and he's walking along the other side of the woods. And I'm like, what in the world? What is he doing now? Like, it's daylight. He's got to be able to find that stand.
Yeah, it was an evening hunt.
Yeah. And I got to watch him walk all the way along the woods and then all the way across the cornfield. It took about 10 minutes or so. And I'm just thinking, what in the world's he doing now? And so then he gets over there that time, and he looks up, and I said, what'd you do now? And he said, I think I got one. I said, oh, did you shoot at one? Or he goes, well, I shot one. All right. Do you think you got it? And do you shoot it well? And he goes, well, I shot it and it went down, and it's tried to get back up. I shot at it again and missed, and shot at it again and missed. And then did you?
I got down. I ended up getting down and shooting it. Yeah.
You run out of arrows.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it was a cluster. I don't know. I was 11. I think that's how it went. I definitely had to get down and shoot it, though. I remember that, and I remember missing it a couple times after I'd spined it or whatever I ended up doing.
But he did get it.
Yeah.
And I was happy to climb down that time and go help him get that one out. And that was his first deer he'd ever shot with his bow.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's killed a few since then. And
was it a doe or a buck or what?
It was a doe.
This a little doe.
Hey everybody, if you like the channel, make sure you subscribe right here. And if you like the clips, I got 2 more options for you. 2 options right here. Subscribe right here. See you guys.